Marie. This morning we are diving into lesson 26 in A Course in Miracles. We've been moving through a lesson every single day, and I am going to start us off this morning with a recap of all previous lessons leading up until now. Lesson 1, nothing I see in this room means anything. Lesson 2, I have given everything I see in this room all of the meaning that it has for me. Lesson 3, I do not understand anything I see in this room. These thoughts do not mean anything. They are like the things I see. Lesson 4. Lesson 5, I am never upset for the reason I think. Lesson 6, I am upset because I see something that is not there. Lesson 7, I see only the past. Lesson 8, my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. Lesson 9, I see nothing as it is now. Lesson 10, my thoughts do not mean anything. Lesson 11, my meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. Lesson 12, I am upset because I see a meaningless world. Lesson 13, a meaningless world engenders fear. Lesson 14, God did not create a meaningless world. Lesson 15, my thoughts are images that I have made. Lesson 16, I have no neutral thoughts. Lesson 17, I see no neutral things. Lesson 18, I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. Lesson 19, I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. Lesson 20, I am determined to see. Lesson 21, I am determined to see things differently. Lesson 22, what I see is a form of vengeance. Lesson 23, I can escape from the world I see by giving up attack thoughts. Lesson 24, I do not perceive my own best interests. Lesson 5, I do not know what anything is for. And Lesson 26, my attack thoughts are attacking my invulnerability. It is surely obvious that if you can be attacked, you are not invulnerable. You can see attack as a real threat. That is because you believe that you can really attack. And what would have effects through you must also have effects on you. It is this law that will ultimately save you, but you are misusing it now. You must therefore learn how it can be used for your own best interest rather than against them. Because your attack thoughts will be projected, you will fear attack. And if you fear attack, you must believe that you are not invulnerable. Attack thoughts, therefore, make you vulnerable in your own mind, which is where the attack thoughts are. Attack thoughts and invulnerability cannot be accepted together. They contradict each other. The idea for today introduces the idea that you always attack yourself first. If attack thoughts must entail the belief that you are vulnerable, their effort is to weaken you in your own eyes. Thus, they have attacked your perception of yourself. And because you believe in them, you can no longer believe in yourself. A false image of yourself has come to take the place of what you are. Practice with today's idea to help you to understand that vulnerability or invulnerability is the result of your own thoughts. Nothing except your thoughts can attack you. Nothing except your thoughts can make you think you are vulnerable. And nothing except your thoughts can prove to you this is not so. 6 practice periods are required in applying today's idea. A full 2 minutes should be attempted for each of them, although the time may be reduced to a minute if the discomfort is too great. Do not reduce it further. Then closing your eyes and questions whose outcomes are causing you concern. The concern may be depression, worry, anger, a sense of imposition, fear, foreboding, or preoccupation. Any problem as yet unsettled that tends to recur in your thoughts during the day is a suitable subject. You will not be able to use very many for any one practice period because a longer time than usual should be spent with each one. Today's idea should be applied as follows. First, name the situation. I am concerned about blank. Then go over every possible outcome that has occurred to you in that connection and which has caused you concern, referring to each one quite specifically saying, I am afraid blank will happen. If you are doing the exercise properly, you should have some 5 or 6 distressing possibilities available for each situation you use, and quite possibly more. It is much more helpful to cover a few situations thoroughly than to touch on a large number. As the list of anticipated outcomes for each situation continues, you will probably find some of them, especially those that occur to you towards the end, less acceptable to you. Try, however, to treat them all alike to whatever extent you can. After you have named each outcome of which you are afraid, tell yourself, that thought is an attack upon myself. Conclude each practice period by repeating today's idea to yourself once more. And today's idea, my attack thoughts are attacking my invulnerability. Wow. Well, first, good morning. It's good to see you all. Y'all, this is actually so, I mean, every single one of these lessons have been so profound. And this one especially just hits home because there have been specific people actually in my life that I have felt rather like afraid of, where there just has felt like a darkness around them that I actually am afraid of what will happen if I'm around them or like what they'll do to me. And what's so interesting is that in so thinking that way, I actually am positioning myself as weak, positioning myself as vulnerable. So, like, that thought that they might attack me is actually me attacking myself, me thinking that I'm going to be hurt. And the fact I'm vulnerable to them immediately positions me in this weak, honestly, position to be prey. So this really, really an important lesson for each one of us because I can tell when I'm walking in my power and when I'm not. And when I'm not walking in my power, it makes me susceptible. But you and I get to, am I going to be powerful and be, there's this biblical verse where it says, the righteous are as bold as a lion. And so if you and I are doing what we're supposed to be doing and we're like walking along as we should, we can be brave and we can be bold. And there's a courage and a righteousness with that. You know, we were talking about last night, I tried to show you guys, my friend has this like list of, I've mentioned before how David Hawkins talks about emotions and assigns a numerical value to them. And he has this like big printout on his wall. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. So I wanted to show you guys, and everything was like upside down and backwards. So it didn't work out last night. But the concept is that as we move up in our emotions, we move out of shame, we move out of fear, we move out of pride, and we get to courage. And then we get to these levels where we're able to engage with other people from a really strong internal place rather than them having power over us and us positioning ourselves as weakness or in a position of weakness. And it starts with our thoughts. It starts with our mind. Are we choosing thoughts of power and love and a sound mind, or are we choosing thoughts that position us in weakness? So just before I keep going, I just wanted to check in on the chat. Ambrose Tees, good morning. Thank you for coming. Sender V, good to see you. Tusif Zafar, good morning. Thank you for joining. Ambrose, I'm good. I feel like I have like a little tickle in my throat, but otherwise I'm great. Eden, like Batman, I'm vengeance. Ooh. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Asadullah, hello from Russia. Hello. I'm so glad you joined. Isn't it so cool how we can all be around the globe and yet somehow connected? Yesterday morning during this show, someone shared that it was the anniversary of the day that they broke their neck and became a quadriplegic. And all of us in the chat and here, we're just like, we love you. We're here with you. We're so proud of you. A week ago, someone shared how their girlfriend passed away and they were still in a lot of grief, and we all came around them. You know, it's becoming a really cool place here in the chat for all of us to really show up and come alongside each other. So I'm grateful that each one of you is here. Ambrose, wait, where do you live? Because my family has a foot of snow in Maryland. So I'm wondering where you live because it has been such bad weather. Rasmusher Mayer. I don't think I said that right. No, it's not AI. I'm here. Good to see you. Ambrose, thank you. I am real. B-Rad, Thanks for joining. Matt Monte, thanks for coming on here. Chan Explorer, um, Dark Lick Fan, Michael Roberts. I'm doing so well. I am from Gaithersburg, Maryland. Um, Tell me where you are. And actually, y'all, if you guys, since you're asking where I'm from, if you all ever want to do, I've been hosting events in person around the country, but I'm planning to go to the UK later this year, and as well as a few other places. And if you guys ever want to do an in-person knowing dinner or an in-person retreat, let me know. I'm dropping here in the chat just a little form that some folks on the show have been filling out recently so that I can stay in touch with them when I'll be in their town. And if you want to share any just like topics or questions that you'd love for us to cover, I'd love that. I'm actually going to be planning today over the next couple of weeks for the show so that we can be like, I really want to be talking about things and covering topics that are really meaningful to each one of us, you know? And frankly, I've got like a guest coming on the show tonight, which I'm excited for. And, you know, I want to be covering things that are meaningful to you. Oh, I love that. Ambrose says mind over thoughts. Isn't it? It's just wild how much power we have. It's so cool that we have the ability to say yes or no to whatever comes up. It's almost like, I think of it this way, that a thought will present itself and then we have the power to decide, okay, I'm actually going to take that and choose to engage, or I'm going to take it, look at it and be like, nope, and let it go and be like, I'm not going to engage with that. Y'all, at 5 years old, I had a moment where I like saw this magazine that I knew I shouldn't be looking at. And it was like under someone's bed in my house. And I pulled it out and I just made a decision. I was like, no, I'm not even going to look at that. Like, I'm just not even going to engage. And it was just like that little moment when I was 5 of choosing to listen to how I felt led. And I think that little example is good for each one of us. Like the little things that we're supposed to be doing, are we obeying? Are we listening? There was a moment, speaking about relationships, there was a moment 3 years ago where I was actually talking to someone in my family and they started accusing me of something horrible. And inside, I just felt like I heard this, like, there's very few times where I feel like I've really, really heard from God. And that was a moment where I felt like God told me, like, do not engage. This is like dangerous. Get out. And I engaged. Like, I didn't listen. I didn't obey. And it ended up being so devastating. Like, it ended up being so painful. And, you know, I still have a relationship with that person, but it's like there's damage really done because I allowed for myself to stay in that environment and I didn't get out. I put myself in a place of weakness with somebody who was continuously proving to be unsafe. And so now for me, when I look back on that time, I'm like, okay, what was I thinking during that time? What were the thoughts that actually self-perpetuated me to stay in that place? And y'all, I attacked myself first before they ever did, because I put myself in that position when I knew better. I didn't listen. I didn't listen to intuition. And I also in my 20s, I had repeated moments of doing that. I was with someone, my partner at the time, my former husband. I just knew something was wrong. I knew something was off. And yet I kept getting myself into these situations over and over and over again. And it's very much true and in accordance with today's lesson. My attack thoughts are attacking my invulnerability. And it's just so important. I really want to read through this again because this is really so important for each one of us. We have so much power, but we give it away to other people by first attacking our thoughts and thus making ourselves vulnerable to them. Because your attack thoughts will be projected, you will fear attack. And if you fear attack, you must believe that you are not invulnerable. So it's like if we're going into a situation afraid of somebody, we're already saying that we're susceptible and vulnerable. But if I go into a situation and I even decide, you know what, you don't feel safe, I'm not even going to engage. That's assuming, you know, I'm going to protect myself. I actually am going to keep myself strong and well. And you said earlier, what is it? What did you say? Yeah. Ambrose, you said mind over thoughts. Like I'm going to choose to keep my mind strong. I think of it sometimes as like our mind is a battlefield. and thoughts come in and we engage with a thought and we say yes or no. And then if we let the thought come into our mind, it then Hey y'all, I just got totally disconnected for a very long time and I have no idea. Um, I have no idea what's gonna happen. I don't even know if I can see the chat anymore because the other day I got disconnected and I wasn't able to see it. So it looks like I'm not, but I'm so sorry about that. We were just having such a good conversation. I just want to circle back to today's lesson. It really is so important because so much of what we're doing here on the show is strengthening our mind. It's like we are going to the gym every single morning for our minds and expanding them and working them out so that we learn how to engage with the world differently. Okay, good. I'm so glad that I can see here in the chat, Carla Thurton. Thank you for letting me know. Glenn Tucker, good to see you guys. Abdulke, Abdul, good to see you. I'm just going to wrap up this lesson. It really is so important for you and me, and it positions us in a place of power. It positions us in a place where people don't have the same amount of control over us that living accordingly otherwise would. So effectively, the whole concept for today, my attack thoughts are attacking my invulnerability. Looking at different situations that come to mind, imagining the outcomes that we're afraid will happen, and then recognizing that we're supposed to effectively say, like, I'm concerned about this situation. I'm afraid that these outcomes will happen. And then that attack thought is actually an attack upon myself. Because if we are protecting ourselves, if we're coming from a place of power, people don't have the ability to hurt us like what we fear. And so, a couple levels up from the emotion of fear is the emotion of courage. And from that place of courage, we can stand with our shoulders rolled back and say, I know what my experience is. I know what I believe. I know who I am. And so, from that place of courage and from that place of confidence, we then stop attacking ourselves and making us then vulnerable to other people. So, with that, y'all, thank you for joining today. I'm sorry about the crazy lag here. Hopefully tonight I will have no problems. I'm having the internet fixed today, but in the meantime, Jake, thank you for joining. Nicholas, Meek, Alex B, Lounge, Jake, guys, thank you so much for coming on here. Brandon, good to see you. I am going to jump off here. I'm sorry again about the disconnect. But in the meantime, I hope you all have such a wonderful day. I will be back on tonight at 8:30 p.m. with a guest. That's my first time coming on in the evening with a guest. So I'm excited for that. And hopefully we'll all have a wonderful conversation together. So in the meantime, have a wonderful day. And just remember lesson 26, my attack thoughts are attacking my invulnerability. And in recognizing that, we are given the power to choose to walk in a position of power by not attacking ourselves and thus relinquishing other people's power to attack us. So have a good day, friends. I will